Good morning. I'm Mark Allen from Gaper.io, and I'm here today with Simon Pizer, a sales development rep with SaaStock. I think I got that right. Did I get it all right, Simon?
Oh, yeah, you got it right. SaaStock is it's like Woodstock just without Jimi Hendrix.
And Dennis Joplin was there too, if I remember right.
Yeah, well, not at R1.
Oh, okay. That's true. I'm thinking of the one in New York. So
What one's that? So I'm a bit lost.
I think I'm getting my concerts mixed up. Maybe I'm showing my
I
age.
think I am too. Don't worry. Quick, just brush past.
So well, and thank you. I know it's after work there. I know it's 7 p.m. there. So thank you for joining us this late in the day. So to start with, can you share a brief background of yourself and your work experience?
Yeah, sure. So round about this time last year, I finished my master's up in Kent University, and then working for SaaStock was my first sales job in London, really, because I wanted to work up in London. And yeah, they found me, and I've been there since last December. And then before that, I was just a barista and other jobs like that. So it's definitely a new ballpark for me, but really enjoying it.
Wow. So you've had a short career. I mean, so a barista, was that at one of the big ones, or was that at a small, quaint little London?
Uh, so I actually studied in Canterbury. So I worked in, you know, being British, traditional tea room, tea and scones.
Mhm.
So I worked there. And then I also worked in a diner in my hometown. So not so big. I did work for my university cafe, but I think that's the most famous I got in my barista career. That's the biggest company I worked for. They've usually been small chains.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. So if you started in December, so you started out pre-COVID and then COVID hit. So have you done both? Like when you first started at SaaStock, were you going into the office or were you always remote?
I was in the office until right at the beginning of March. So luckily we went remote just before everyone else did.
Mhm.
So we had a bit of a 2-week adjustment period. But yeah, I commuted every day into London. So now it's my room is my office. It's a
Wow.
bit strange. So yeah, we've been remote since March.
And how far are you from London?
I'm not far. I'm about an hour away.
That's pretty
So
far.
but not too bad. So with podcasts like this, I usually listen to it on my commute. So it's a bit strange finding time to listen to a podcast when you're
Yeah.
not moving.
Yes, that is one good thing about commuting. Did you take the train or did you drive in?
So I took the bus and a train. So I used to listen to podcasts, audiobooks, everything. And that's a habit that unfortunately I'm still trying to pick up.
Wow.
Still yeah, so normal books, audiobooks, yeah, I'm trying to get back into that groove.
Well, cool. And now you're doing podcasts yourself, which see is natural
Yeah.
progression.
I'm on the other side of the headphones.
Yeah. Did you do TED Talks?
Yes, I've not done one myself, one day, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was obsessed with them.
Mhm.
My favorite one was the Simon Sinek one, not because he's got my name, but
Mhm.
it was, yeah, I just love his work. And I subscribed through their app. So I think you got a fresh one every day, and
Yeah.
they're only like bite size.
Yeah.
So it really helped with that early morning, well, cup of tea, coffee, depending where you are.
Mhm. Yes, coffee in the States, obviously.
Yeah.
So what was your experience like when COVID first hit? I mean, you freed up 2 hours a day, right?
Yeah, it was a bit strange. So um first of all, you go, oh, I get that extra half an hour lay in, but now my habit has changed to make that time more effective just for different things. So
Mhm.
um, I use that hour to exercise in the morning, to read like a physical book.
Mhm.
Um, so every morning I'm reading, I'm doing some exercise. So the time has it's just changed in what I do, and it's showed that I have a lot more time in the day than I used to, ironically, because
Yeah.
our days get busier. Have you found that?
Yes.
That
Yes.
yeah.
When you're always on, because if you work from home or live at work, depends on how you look at it, um, you're always on, right? And it's interesting you mentioned that. Have you read the book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod?
No, I haven't actually.
You should actually read the book because that's what it's about. What it talks about, the Miracle Morning, is basically doing 6 things every morning, and you could do them however you want, that just get you started on the right track and it makes your whole life more productive.
After this, I'm definitely going to put in an Amazon order, I think.
Yeah. Two of the things that are, one is reading and one is exercise.
Oh, no way. I knew that one was something just as simple as making your bed in the morning.
Yes.
I found that to work really well, and not wearing, we call them joggers, but sweatpants, not wearing those, wearing jeans, getting dressed as you were in the office. So
Yep.
I've been wearing this jumper every day, not every day. I do wash my clothes all day, I meant to say, and jeans, and then changing. So you, there's a clear start and end.
Yes.
Really helps. Yeah, didn't realize that small things like that have such a big difference.
They do. Well, the thing with the making your bed, that's a military thing. My dad taught me that, is that you've done, right off the bat, you've done something productive. You've made your bed.
Yes.
Things are, now you start your day. And then the next one is brush your teeth, and then boom, 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 right down the line.
And another one that I've done is I've stopped pressing snooze. That's been
Yes.
a big one.
Yes.
So have you found that?
Yes. What I do is I don't have an alarm clock anymore. I have here's my alarm clock.
Yeah.
I put it over the other side of the room, and I have to get up to turn it off. So I'm up. I might as well stay up.
Yeah. And then it saves you throwing it in the morning, I'm guessing, as well.
Yes, it does. Interesting. So now you're kind of new at this stuff. So you're basically, you've been working for about a year, but you've had a taste of going into the office, and you've had a longer taste of working from home. What do you think is the future of working from home or remote employment, and anything you think that can be done to make it more effective?
So I think going forward, when things calm down, so to speak, I think there'll be more of a hybrid model in place. So I think people will commute, for example, 3 days a week, maybe Monday to Wednesday, have key meetings there, for example, sales meetings, marketing, sales, and then working from home Thursday or Friday. So it will be the birth of a 3-day week. Because I know that some companies do a 4-day week, but I really think that this has shown that everyone, and people even as young in my role, we're still just as productive working from home in getting the results that we need. So I think that there will definitely be that in place, and it was save on the train ticket. So I think that would be the biggest difference. What do you think? What do you think would be the biggest change?
I agree. I think it's going to be hybrid. I don't know that you're going to go into the office from 9 to 5 anymore. I think it's going to be more, I think you're going to have it's going to be more like the shared office space. You're not going to have a designated desk or workspace. You're going to just come in and plug in, and it's going to be more collaborative, where you like, okay, our group has to get together at least twice a week. So we're going to go in Tuesdays and Thursdays from 10 to 2, right? And maybe finance will do it Mondays and Wednesdays or whatever it is, but it's going to be more, because I think people have proven that you can work from home effectively. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
You yourself, I mean, you're fairly new. I mean, do you think you're more productive at home or after a 1-hour train ride?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. I think I'm just as productive, but in different ways. So when I was commuting, I did have the opportunity to do what I do now in terms of exercising and reading, but it would be more of a struggle to implement it into my day. So whereas now I can get up, I know what I'm doing, I don't have to be somewhere for a train.
Right.
I have that window of like freedom, and you're not you're kind of ahead of the curve in a way, so you're not playing catch up with your day, so to speak. So
Right.
you
That's a
can,
good way to
you
put
know,
it.
you can hit the ball right out of the park as soon as you wake up, but because you don't have that added stress of going, oh, I'm going to
Right.
miss my train, I'm going to be late for work, because I think what we found now is that the only way you're late for work is when Zoom doesn't open,
Right. And that's,
which is
I
a
have,
better problem to have.
yeah. And it's interesting, you mentioned you have to catch the train. So in the big cities, which, I'm in San Francisco, you're in London. When you take public transportation to and from the office, you get in at the same time and you leave at the same time every day because you don't want to miss your train,
Yeah.
right? Where when you work from home, if someone says, "Oh, can we just hang out for another 15 minutes?" You're like, "Sure, let's go. I've got nowhere to be for the next 15 minutes."
Absolutely. Yeah. If we were, if we were still in the office, I don't think I'd still be commuting now. So I don't think I'd even have time for this podcast.
Right. And
So go on.
well, I was going to say, I've done this where I'm in a meeting at the office and, the time comes where I've got to go to catch public transportation. And I'm like, I'll take it from the phone. So you're walking in downtown. I'm walking in downtown San Francisco with the headset on, talking to someone, and you see multiple people doing this.
Yeah, for sure. And it's that overtime it's not that it was an issue before, but it's less pressure
Right.
because you're already at home. Just well, some people will be in their joggers already. Some of us won't be. So yeah, it's definitely it's created different pressures, but it's eased some of the more. I think it's eased more physical stresses, but
Yes.
maybe heightened more like mental and emotional ones, I think.
That's a good segue to what I was going to ask you next, because you're obviously a little bit younger than me. I have a feeling you're even younger than both my kids. But my youngest is 30, so you can answer that question.
Yes, no, I am. Yeah.
So
Just a tad.
But the social aspect of it, because I remember when I was in my young 20s or young to mid 20s, and there were a whole bunch of us that went into work together. It was our social life, and you don't have that now, right? As much. How has that affected you?
It's working from home when it's just you and you do miss your colleagues, and because you're so like dialed into what you're doing, if like communication isn't as easy as just turning around to someone in the office and saying, oh, can you help me with this? Because so I do miss it, and just going to the pub over Zoom isn't quite the same.
It's not.
No. So yeah, the interaction, it's still there. So like every morning we have our Zoom meeting, we have our huddles and things like that. But yeah, it's definitely different. But at the same time, we've been remote for, I think it's 7 months.
6 or 7 months, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to use the term the new normal because you hear it everywhere, but you just kind of adjust to it and you just communicate with people in a different way in order to facilitate that bit more. So you'd say hey to someone that you wouldn't usually get the chance to speak to in the office because they're on the other side of the room, and just little things like that. Because I found that people's like emotional intelligence is definitely it's skyrocketed, I think, which is so nice to see. So yeah, I think it's just a different kind of communication.
Yeah, well, and since you were at your company for a little while, going in on Monday through Friday, did you guys? We used to do happy hour every Friday at 5. I don't know, but that stopped, right?
Yeah, well, we have our Friday wins at the end of our day now. So, but we used to, in our office, we used to have happy hour from the people who ran the office, because we had a little floor, and they would make us cocktails every week, and every week would be a different one. So yeah, you definitely get a lot of less free drinks and free things being at home. But yeah. Do you know, I haven't thought about the happy hour until now. I've gone a whole 7 months.
And
Yeah.
And now, see,
Um,
now this Friday, you got five, another 4 days because you're already through the first one. This
yeah.
Friday, you're going to miss it because I brought this up.
Yeah, it'd be like, when's happy hour? Waiting for that 1 hour every week.
Mhm. Yeah, and actually, when I was younger, I don't remember there being alcohol at work. So we would go to the local bar or pub, and it was just more of that's how we made friends with people, right?
Hmm.
Just,
Yeah.
right. That's actually where I met my wife.
Oh,
So,
really?
yes, but we won't go into that. That's a whole other podcast.
Maybe next week.
Yeah. So,
No, that's great because we're quite a small company anyway, so
mm,
it's quite tight, tight knit. Oh, you can tell it's in the evening here. I'm losing my words a
you,
little bit.
you never know when things go back, you might meet your wife. Are you married?
I'm not married. No, I do have a partner though, and she's studying at the moment. So she's doing her PhD.
Oh,
So yeah, I don't think she would be too happy.
you
But,
probably would. No,
no.
they tend to not like that.
But yeah, like it's meeting people, and especially being in sales, like our whole job is to meet people and engage with, like, so we're an events company.
Mhm.
So being hit by COVID, being an events company, we've had to pivot and everything like that. So yeah, for a job that's so heavily based on interaction, it's amazing how well people in the field, well, from what I've seen, have managed to adapt to it.
Yeah. Well, and that's a perfect segue because I was going to ask you next about your company. So, what does SaaStock do? Who's your target audience? All those things.
I can you sense a little elevator pitch coming up?
Yeah, that's fine.
So we are SaaStock. So we're Europe's largest B2B SaaS conference. And what we do is that we help companies gain traction, scale, and grow, and make a real difference to their lives and the company. And what we do is that all of our audience are decision makers. So we have founders, leaders, and execs and investors. So we help startups find investment. We help our partners increase their brand awareness and meet their ICPs, be it could be like a managing director, or it could be the CEO of a small startup. And our real sweet spot is from startup to the mid-market is where most of our businesses are at the moment. Not to say that we don't play well with everybody.
Mhm.
So we have the likes of some of our bigger partners would be like AWS, people like that, Zendesk, people like that, who have been with us in the past. And we actually have our flagship event next week,
Oh,
and we're hosting it online. It's our third online event. So we've done our Latin American event. We've done SaaStock Remote, which was our first one back in June. And then we've got SaaStock APAC in November.
so it'll be mainly APAC, or is it open to anybody?
So it's region specific usually. So we have SaaStock EMEA coming up next week, which is our flagship. So we have a big ecosystem in Europe, but we have an APAC event, we have a North American event, we have an APAC event as well. So yeah, we're spread across the 5 continents.
Give us your URL so people can look it up.
Yeah, sure. You can find us at SaaStock.com. And yeah, you can even find it we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, you name it, we're probably on it. And yeah, so you can find everything there in terms of the events that we do. We also have blogs and articles that are really interesting as well, that go out regularly. So yeah, you can catch us there at SaaStock.com.
Very good. And are you kind of like a virtual networking company? Is that a good way to describe you?
I think it's a fairly good assessment. Yeah, I'll take that. We are an online. We're an online Well, we're a conference company, but we at the moment it's because we're not allowed to do in person. It's safe to say that we are an online events company at the moment, but we'll have a hybrid, I think, going forward.
And before COVID, did you have you had in-person events?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just missed our flagship event last year because it's hosted in October every year, and I joined in December. So they all came back from Dublin, which is where it's hosted. So I just missed them, and I was hoping that it would be my first time not only to Dublin but to SaaStock EMEA this October, but unfortunately I might have to wait another year.
Well, hopefully next year. And a little side note there. I'm Irish. I actually have my Irish citizenship, and I have been to Dublin.
No way.
Way.
So St. James's Gate and places like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guinness.
I think that would be the biggest change for SaaStock and me is you have to bring your own Guinness.
Yeah. Oh. No, Guinness, and I don't know if you've been to the States. Guinness in Ireland and England tastes different than it does in the States. It doesn't travel as well.
Yeah, and I found that in California, the avocados are out of this world.
They are, yes.
Yeah, we don't have great ones here. They're small and
yeah. And I literally just go to the local grocery store and get them. They're everywhere.
I'm so jealous. Like,
yeah.
I definitely, don't get me wrong, I miss my family there as well, but I do miss the avocados.
Mm-hmm. We have some pretty good wine here too, I heard. I don't know. I might have to check that out one of these days.
Yeah, just experiment.
Yeah, just take a drive up north, see what's up there, right?
Yeah.
So the ongoing pandemic has caused all companies to go remote. You're kind of new. Did that cause any challenges that you personally weren't expecting?
I have to say wholeheartedly, I don't think I had any expectations to go into it with, mainly because I think no one knew at the time like the weight of what was going on. But I was there long enough to know just how much like value is in just, again, as I mentioned earlier, just turning around to someone and like even saying hello, or having just a room full of people and having like that hive mind that you can collaborate with. So yeah, it's I think, I don't know, because I found that we, as not just as like humans, but as, again, as salespeople, as marketers, just anyone in the business world really is like so adaptable. And especially when you're in a small startup like us, and you have a really lean team, it's so much easier. Well, it's not easier, but you're more dynamic in terms of how to approach different things. So like obviously it's going to be a bit easier for us to implement a few things than I don't know, bigger enterprise companies of thousands of people. So we're very fortunate in that regard, I think, because that level of adaptivity is so key and so vital to navigating the current market. So hopefully that touches upon the answer. I've not been asked that question before, so.
Yeah, no, it does. And I think it's just what we've been talking about all along. It just kind of sums it up. It's, you're fairly new to this, but you've adapted already, right? I mean, you started one way and all of a sudden, it just got turned upside down.
Yeah.
Especially sales development. I mean, salespeople want to be out with the customer.
Yeah, it's definitely, we're in the front lines. I've got a bit of a crazy stat for you.
Okay.
I've never sold anything outside of a pandemic. I've done all of my partnerships from March, April onwards. So I was still training when I was from December through to March. And so the only thing that I've sold outside of a pandemic is coffee. Not partnerships to an event. So I think it definitely helps mature careers as well. I think people in my position have learned things that only years of experience, I think, in some regard can show like appreciation to, which is so it's such a good feeling to know that, although things are a bit crazy, there's still a lot of opportunity in terms of like development and growth and things like that, and learning things that well, it's not really in the training sales book of how to adapt to a pandemic. So it's fun to be part of writing that story at the same time. Well, I think maybe fun might be the wrong word, but interesting.
Interesting, challenging.
Yeah, quickly saved myself there.
Yeah, well, cool. Well, Simon, I want to thank you for your time this evening, and thank you again for joining us so late there. And hey, are the pubs open? Maybe you go out and have a cold one now, or a pint.
Yeah, they shut at 10 at the moment, so there's still a little bit of time. Just got to lock up and leave.
All right, well, go have a pint on us.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, thank you for having me on the podcast, and yeah, I look forward to hearing future episodes.
All right, thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.